G'day, I'm Joel Rasmussen from Fight News Australia, and ahead of his second official UFC fight, I'm talking to Mr. Kevin Jousset. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Now, the last time I got a chance to talk to you, it wasn't in an official interview setting, but I chatted to you at the UFC 293 Media Day. And that was ahead of your first fight that was on short notice. How does it feel to have your first full official UFC camp?
Yeah, yes, as a first official one, but I was training for the last one anyway. So even if it was a short notice, I was ready. I was getting ready just in case it was gonna happen, and it did. So I was ready to go, and on this one, I'm ready to go too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight and finishing the year with a good win.
Now, the last time that you fought, you guys at City Kickboxing, there were six fighters on the card, and that was a big thing that got talked about a lot. Having six fighters all getting ready at the same time. Now, as far as I know, you were the only City Kickboxing fighter getting ready for a fight on this card. I know there may be some guys at some other levels, but still, what is it like now to have kind of all the focus on you heading into this fight?
Yeah, it's good. It's different. I like having the whole team around me, but I'm also looking forward to be the only guy on the card and having all my team here just for me. I'll be able to tell you after the fight how it was, but up to now, I'm quite happy to have the support for my team and yeah, having all my coaches coming over to Las Vegas and yeah, it should be good to be the only fight.
Now, talking about that, there's obviously everyone knows the ridiculous high level of caliber of your training partners out at City Kickboxing. And I know, as we talked about, you were getting ready for the first fight before it was official. You were staying prepared, but still, when you're in a camp where there's so many people who have kind of been here before, they've been at this level. What kind of is there any guidance they can kind of give you? Like they have all made the same steps that you have. Is that like any calming?
I'm sure if I would have asked, I would have got all the tips from all of them, all the guys who already made it to the UFC, but I didn't really ask any recommendations or tips about those things. But it's more the fact that I got the privilege to be able to go to so many UFC events with my team before I made it to the UFC. So I knew exactly how it was gonna be, all those medias, all the fight week thing, and the fight is itself is just a fight. Yes, there's more cameras and there's obviously way more people watching, but I try to don't really focus on those things. I try to really focus on myself and winning my fight, and that's it. All those medias and all the people watching, and I think about it when the fight is done. So yeah, I could have got all the tips from my teammates, but I didn't really ask anything. And yeah, still went pretty good, I reckon.
I think it went pretty well as well, considering you picked up the first round submission, opening up the show for your team, starting off the team with a win. When you go out there and you make a statement like that, I know you were getting ready, but still short notice, walk out, make that statement. How did that feel afterwards and kind of the weeks since that?
I've been asked these questions a lot, and many people, I mean, most people are very surprised with my answer. Is I didn't really feel as much as I thought I would, because in my head, I knew that was gonna happen, really, and I've known that for so many years. So when it happened, it almost felt like it already happened before. I already knew it was gonna happen, so it was nothing new or unexpected. So I was happy, but I was like, yeah, well, I knew it was gonna happen anyway. So yeah, I was just happy to make sure I proved what I've been telling for what I've been saying for a while, and yeah, that's it. And just looking forward for what's next now.
Talking about that, I remember when I spoke to you after the UFC 293 Media Day, you talked about after the fight, getting a little bit of time off. Your family was coming down from France, and you guys got a chance to kind of hang out on the Gold Coast. How was that little holiday that you got?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, it was great, man. Just stayed on the Gold Coast for a week and then went back to Auckland. But like people who know me, they know I can't really take a holidays for so long. Even when I was in Gold Coast, I was still going for a run most mornings and lifting weights and stuff like that. Because otherwise, I'm just bored and I can't sleep well if I don't work out on a daily basis. So yeah, it was good, But after a win like that, when the body is kind of ready to go, I kind of can't enjoy a holiday for too long because I know I need to get back to work. So yeah, I've had a great time. It's always great to spend some time with my family, because I don't get to see them that often. And we had a great time, but then when I came back to the gym, I was already looking forward to the next one.
Talking about the next one, you were fighting December 10th against Song Keenan, and I was wondering if, what are your thoughts on him as a fighter?
Yeah, I think he's a very good fighter. He's been fighting for a very long time. He's been in the UFC for quite a while. He has 8 fights in the UFC already and close to 30 fights overall. So yeah, a lot of experience. He's been fighting some very high level guys, and it should be an interesting fight. I know on paper he has way more experience than me, but I've been fighting guys who have more experience than me in my whole career. And I've been competing my whole life anyway, even if it was not only in MMA. So I'm looking forward to test my skills against this guy. Should be good.
Talking about that, obviously you were very high level in judo, established judoka before making kind of the switch to mixed martial arts. And you talk about it there. This is a person who's had 8 UFC fights, an extensive record. What, how do you feel the company kind of views you, and does that give you confidence knowing that even though you've had one UFC fight, they're viewing you as high enough caliber to go up against someone who's got a lot of experience?
Yeah, absolutely. But I've asked for this guy. So what happened is I knew the UFC was going to China, and for me that just excites me to fight someone on his home soil. And I've asked my manager, give me a Chinese guy in China, and they gave me this guy, and I say yes, sweet. So yeah, I think it means they like the fact that I want to fight guys in their country, because most people want to fight at home and kind of have the crowd behind them. But I always put guys in their own country, and I really like that, being underdog and stuff like that. For me, it excites me. But yeah, I think up to now, the UFC enjoy my style and the way I fight and approach things. So hopefully after this fight, they will like me even more.
I hope so as well. Talking about fighting in China, obviously China's a market there's been heaps of events in China. It's kind of a market they're trying to break into. As you said, you called for that. What was it about fighting in China that seemed so appealing to you?
It was not really China itself. That was more the fact that I was fighting someone in his own country. It could have been in any country. Like if it was in Brazil, I would have asked for Brazilian. I didn't really mind who I was fighting. I've never been really annoying about choosing an opponent. I've always said yes to whoever I got offered. And it wasn't gonna be any different on this one. But it just the date was fitting me very good. The end of the year, I wanted to make sure I have a win before the end of the year. December was great for me. And yeah, I've heard they're going to China, so I was like, yeah, perfect, sounds good to me. And yeah, that's how we ended up with this matchup. But unfortunately, it's going to be in Vegas now, which is still alright. I'm still very happy to fight this guy in Vegas. It's just a bit annoying that it's going to be at the Apex, so we won't have the world crowd. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to fight someone where there's not many people in the crowd, and we're going to be able to hear every single shot landing, and that's something I'm also looking forward to.
Now, after your debut, you called out Ian Garry. Unfortunately, obviously not this time round, but maybe that is something that could happen in the future. I was wondering, Ian Garry kind of been in a bit of the news recently. There's been some kind of craziness going on with him. Have you seen any of that? And I was wondering what your thoughts were if you had.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of it. I try to don't spend too much time on Twitter and social media in general because that's a lot of negativity and a lot of people talking shit when they don't know what they are talking about. But yeah, I've seen that Sean Strickland was talking about him and his wife and stuff like that, but that's not some stuff I'm really interested in because I'm interested in fighting someone because I want to test my skills against the guy's skills. And I may not like someone or appreciate someone. It doesn't matter. I just want to compete against some of the best guys in the world. But I'm never gonna talk about someone's wife, or I don't really care about who he's married to and if she has the right intentions with him or not. Like that's not my problem, you know. That's your life. I'll let you deal with your life, and I'll deal with mine. And if one day I can compete against him, that's great. But yeah, I'm not a big fan when guys are talking about each other's family and all those kind of intimate topics.
Keeping it professional.
Trying to be.
It's sometimes hard in this game.
I wouldn't even say being professional. I would just say trying to be a good human being. You know, it's yeah, as I say, like that's his life, you know, and that shouldn't be in other people's mouth, you know. Like he marries whoever the hell he wants, and if he's happy like that, and yeah, good for him.
Is that a fight that still is on the top of your mind? I know obviously you've got an opponent in front of you. I wouldn't encourage you to look past him, but is that still a fight that you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely, him and many others. But yeah, I know eventually when I get to the top 15, I will have to fight this guy and many other guys, and I will definitely be looking forward to it. But right now I'm focused on Song Kenan on in early December, and then I will actually stay in Vegas an extra week to be able to watch UFC 296, and there's four fights of my weight class on the card, so I'm looking forward to see those guys.
So you'll be paying close attention to 296.
Yes, sir, I will.
uh, so I think a lot is made as well, also just because I'm in the region and you're in the region, about kind of the support you got from like the New Zealand crowd, the Australian crowd. You started amateurs in Australia, moving to New Zealand. But I wanted to ask, since making the debut and all that, how has the French support been?
Man, they've been great. I got so many messages from French people. So yeah, I'm very grateful, you know. Like yeah, having a French guy fighting from a different country, I'm sure that kind of annoys them because I'm not like fighting out of France, but obviously they know I love my country and I'm very proud to be French. And yeah, I'm looking forward to fighting France someday, though. You know, I've heard the UFC is going back to France early next year, March or April, from what I've heard. So hopefully, no injuries on this fight, a good victory, and then I can enjoy Christmas, don't get too fat, and get back to training and fight in France early next year would be great.
Of course, you just said before, you're not looking past this opponent, and I would never encourage that. But as you say, looking at a French date, is there someone who comes to mind for fighting in France, or just whoever you can get in France?
I didn't think about it just yet, but yeah, I didn't really think about it just yet, but on fight night and when I fight next week, I'm sure I'll have a name in my mouth at the end of the fight. Let's see.
We'll also have to see how 296 goes, I suppose.
I guess so. I guess so.
Now, before the last fight you had before getting signed to the UFC, you became the first ever Hex double champ. That was a huge statement. And after that fight, you got asked who would you fight next locally, and you said, essentially, you said, doesn't matter, I'm going to the UFC. They've recently just announced, Hex has, I'm not sure if you've seen that, Hex is coming to Auckland early next year. They're doing Hex 30 in Auckland. And I was wondering if I could just kind of get your thoughts on that and what that would mean to New Zealand MMA.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, Hex is definitely the best show out of this region in Australia and in New Zealand. And I'm very grateful to these guys, you know, like they looked after me, they gave me some very high level fights. And without those regional promotions, none of us would be able to be in the UFC today and make a living out of what we love. So yeah, man, I'm very grateful for from Hex, and And yeah, I will definitely be there in May when they come to Auckland, and I will be front row watching all the fights, and hopefully I have a few guys from my team who will be fighting on the show too. And yeah, Hex is that's huge. That's getting bigger and bigger each event. So I'm looking forward to watch the event here in Auckland, New Zealand.
You touched on it there. That was my exact next question. Is there anyone from City Kickboxing that you would like to see on that card?
Oh, many of them. Let me start with Vake brothers. Yeah, I'd like to see one of them. James or John. They are both two of my main training partners. Are both very, very high level. I would love to see them fight on the bigger show here. And then there's many other guys, obviously. Brando heavyweights, Navajo light heavyweights, Cameron if he doesn't have a fight middleweights, and yeah, I can't say every name, but there's many, many guys who are ready for the biggest show in the world, but they need first to prove everyone on those shows, and Hex is definitely the best platform to have some good wins and then make it to UFC.
Much like UFC 293, we could see a City Kickboxing takeover of Hex 30.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
And now my last questions for you. I thank you very much for your time. I wanted to ask Kevin Air Jousset. I wanted to know where does the Air nickname come from?
It comes from the takedowns. I don't know if you got the chance to see my earlier fights in my career, but obviously coming from a judo background, I've had a fair amount of impressive takedowns and making guys fly. So yes, that's how it came from. And obviously, I didn't have any impressive takedown on my UFC debut. I took him down, but yeah, surely within the next few fights, you guys will get the chance and privilege to see some quite nice takedowns. And
some
you,
people, some people flying all over the cage.
100%,
Is that a
100%.
nickname that gets bestowed to you by someone, or is that something that you come up with yourself?
No, no, so it's people in general who are calling me like that. So yeah, I thought that fits my style quite good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. My final question for you today. It is breaking the fourth wall here. Today is a Wednesday. It's in the afternoon for you. I thank you so much for your time. What am I interrupting? What does a Wednesday in fight camp look like for you, Mr. Kevin Jousset?
Well, this morning I was training at the gyms and I had to rush to the US Embassy to pick up my passports with my US visa in it, which is all good now. I have it, so yeah, that's don't need to stress about it anymore. And I've just done an interview just before you actually, and now I'm gonna have a bit of a snack, and I'm going back to the gym for the wrestling session, couple of hours. And tonight I have a massage, which is pretty good, probably the best part of the week. And yes, and just dinner and go home and go again the next day.
Awesome. Kevin, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I really do appreciate you giving me your time. Thank you, and good luck to you and the whole team.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.